Player ratings then. Everton 0, Manchester United 2 at Goodison Park. Carlo Ancelotti's Everton crash out of the Carabao Cup at the quarter-final stage due to a pretty lacklustre and poor Everton performance. Let's get straight into it then. Robin Olsen in goal, coming in for Jordan Pickford. They've given him a 6 today. Might be a little bit harsh. Didn't have anything to do with either goal, really. The Cavani goal is a fantastic strike. Maybe he could do a little bit better. Should he be being beaten from there? It's arguable. The Martial goal is a one-on-one in the last seconds, and it was pretty simple for him to finish. But I just thought he started really, really shaky. And you know what? He's done okay since he's come in. Olsen, he played well, against Leicester midweek. Didn't really have much to do, but he'd done the simple bits right. He did the same against Newcastle, really. Didn't really have anything to do with either of their goals. But today was the first time we've seen a shaky Robin Olsen, really. He had a situation at the start of the game where he tried to be a little bit too clever with the ball, and he very nearly gifted Cavani a chance in the opening 5 or 10 minutes. I thought his distribution was poor as well. Pretty much every time it left his boot, it went out, other than 1 or 2 occasions. So I've given him an average 6. Ben Godfrey then, continuing at left back, I've given him a 7. I thought he had a decent game, to be honest with you. There was a couple of times that Manchester United got down that left-hand side, and it was a little bit too easy for them. They got down that side for the goal, ultimately, towards the end of the game. But I thought Ben in himself, again, working hard, giving it 110%, getting forward, throwing tackles in, commanding players as well. He took a lot of throw-ins today, which meant that the camera was pretty much always on him, and he's constantly screaming at players and shouting at players and demanding where they're going to be. So again, there was a couple of issues positionally wise where he got caught a couple of times, but generally on the ball he was very good, strong again defensively, and done what he needed to do. Yerry Mina in the middle, I've given him a 6. I think again, not awful, but just far too easy for Manchester United to get through on a number of occasions. Made a fantastic clearance, to be fair, in the first half, which would stopped a certain goal through his foot in the air. It's an excellent clearance, but probably a fault for Cavani's goal, to be honest with you. And again, just a little bit too easy for them to be getting through that central defence. I didn't think Michael Keane covered himself in a lot of glory either today. It just wasn't great, was it? Michael Keane, then I've given him a 6. Again, started off shaky. Couple of misplaced passes in the opening 10 minutes, which is so unlike Michael Keane. Neither of them had a dreadful game and made any woeful mistakes. But, again, it was just far too easy at times for Manchester United to get through. Greenwood had a header, Alex Telles has a header, Pogba has a header from a corner, completely unmarked, and you just can't be allowing a side like Manchester United, with the attacking quality that they have, you can't be allowing them to get chance upon chance upon chance at goal. We got very, very lucky that we didn't go in 1-0 down at half time. Some would say it was mad how we didn't go in 1-0 down, because they had constant efforts and the defence were just getting ripped apart constantly. Seamus Coleman on the right, then I've given him a 6.5. Come back into the team today for Mason Holgate. Done okay. I'm not going to lie, I'm quite fuming, to be honest, at the chance that he had towards the back end of the game. He literally runs the entire length of the pitch, gets the ball to the edge of the box, and Seamus Coleman of 5 years ago would wrap his foot around that. And okay, sometimes it mightn't go in, sometimes it mightn't go on target, but more often than not it rattles the back of the net, but he always wraps his foot around it. Now it just seems like he doesn't want to do that, and that really, really frustrates me. I understand he's, older, maybe he hasn't got the energy or the stamina, but he's done all the hard work. He's done the running, he's done the burst and run, he's got past his player, he's got into a great position. There's no excuse for you to not wrap your foot around that, especially trying to pass it to a player who is quite clearly in an offside position in Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For me, and I might be looking a bit too into this, it's sort of, I don't want the responsibility, you have it. And as a captain of the football club coming back in, for me, he should just be wrapping his foot around that and having a go. And if it doesn't go in and it goes wide, then and what? He's had a chance at a really good opportunity in the game for us to, to ultimately, I think it was 0-0 at that point, so to get the winner. And he just doesn't. And I just don't think it's good enough. His other parts of his game, look, he done okay. Defended relatively well. Got caught a couple of times, but again, was done okay down that right-hand side. So he's getting a 6.5. Decore a 6. Worked hard, but didn't really do much, didn't really cover himself in a lot of glory. The midfield today was atrocious. the midfield was especially in that first half an hour, so void of any energy, void of any intensity, void of wanting to run about the pitch. We were just being bombarded and it was just bypassing the midfield. Manchester United were bypassing the midfield with their attack, and we were bypassing our own midfield with ours, because it was going straight from Olsen or the back line all the way up to Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison, and the midfield was just anonymous, and Decore was part of that, and he come into the game a little bit when we started to become more comfortable on the ball, but ultimately, realistically, it wasn't a good enough performance. I've given him a 6. Andre Gomes a 4. Again, I started to get to the point where I feel a little bit harsh, because I feel like I'm saying the same stuff every week, and I don't just want to sit here and go in on a player every single week and say the same things, because ultimately he's not picking himself. He's not good enough for this Everton team. It's as simple as that. He's not quick enough. He's not awake when the ball's not with him. He's a good footballer, Andre Gomes. On the ball, he's a tidy footballer. He uses his strength well. He uses his body well. If he's given time, he can pick a pass. But you don't get time in this league. And teams will look at Andre Gomes in the opening 5 minutes of a game and think, he is not comfortable when he's being pressured, so just run at him all game. And if you do that, he makes mistakes. And not only that, doesn't make up for it off the ball. His work rate off the ball is awful. What we've seen from Gylfi Sigurdsson, let's say, for example, over the last few games or so, is whereas he might struggle under pressure, he's added that work rate to his game. He started to throw tackles in. He started to make bust and runs at players when they've got the ball. He started to give it 110%. Now, I'm not saying Andre Gomes doesn't give it 110%. I just don't think he's capable of doing that, to be honest with you. And I just don't see what he offers this Everton team. He's a passenger almost every time he plays, and he's taking up a space. And again, like I said, I'm not going in on him. It's not his fault. He seems like a lovely fella and all that, but you can be a lovely fella. My dad's a lovely fella. Half the lads I drink with down the pub are lovely fellas. Doesn't mean I'd want them in Everton's midfield. Andre Gomes would probably be bossing the Italian league or somewhere like that, where it's dead slow and he's got loads of time on the ball and there's not much pressure. In the Premier League, you've got to be very, very, very good, aka James level of good, to be able to know what you're going to do before you've received the ball and then be able to do that. Or you've got to be quick enough to be able to get yourself out of situations and to be able to work hard off the ball, and I just don't think he does it. Going on to Sigurdsson then, I'm going to give him a 7. I actually think he was the best player in an Everton shirt today, and you might criticise his final ball and you might criticise his creativity, but he worked hard until the last moment, and he was one of the only Everton players, certainly in that last 10 or 15 minutes, who looked like he wanted to get forward and create. He was screaming for the ball when Seamus Coleman had it. Seamus made the wrong pass. He was picking the ball up. He used his feet well. He was playing it in the right areas. I just thought he was the best player in an Everton shirt today, so I'm giving Gylfi Sigurdsson a 7. Again, said it in the instant match reaction, the hard work's brilliant, and he was very good today in terms of doing that, Sigurdsson. But ultimately in games like this, you need magic moments. You need somebody who pops up and gets the winner out of nowhere, and he's probably not that player anymore, but there's other issues in and around the team, and I thought he worked well today. I thought he done okay, so he's getting a 7. Iwobi then 6.5, just short of Sigurdsson's 7. Again, worked really, really hard. Was bringing the ball from the wide areas into the centre of the midfield. Played some really, really nice combining passes. His final ball is atrocious, to be perfectly honest with you, and it needs working on as soon as possible. But he worked hard today. He worked hard, he battled, he got stuck in, and technically he done okay as well. Technically he done okay, so he's getting a 6.5. Richarlison a 6. Not massively in the game, to be honest with you. Had a couple of opportunities, again, really, really frustrating opportunities, which we've seen on a number of occasions recently, where he's getting down that left-hand side and he just can't do anything with the ball. We've seen what he can do against Leicester, where he cuts in, he fires it with a strong right and it goes in, and all of a sudden we're 1-0 up. That's what he can do, but he just doesn't seem to be able to wrap his foot around the ball enough. He's either getting it and he's trying to cut inside and it's being defended, or he's trying to do too much, or he's indecisive about what he's doing. I think he was our biggest threat today on the pitch, and he always will be our biggest threat. When James and Luca Dean are in the team and we're not creating enough for Dom, Richarlison will always be our biggest threat, and ultimately that's why Bruno Fernandes took him out, because he knew how dangerous he could be. And again, when Richarlison left the pitch and it became quite abundantly clear that A, Bernard wasn't going to do anything, and B, we weren't getting the chances into Dom, it was pretty much open for penalties at that point, because we weren't in the game. and I said it in the intermatch reaction, look, I've said all I need to say about VAR and the refereeing and Fernandes' challenge. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he endangers a player, and ultimately when you endanger a player, it's a sending off. He knows exactly what he's doing with the push, and Eric Bailly's knee goes right into Richarlison's face, probably concussed. He looks knocked out for the first minute that he's on the floor. He's spitting blood. I just think it's criminal how players can get away with doing that and just come out scot-free. And what for a start, why have commentators commentating if they're going to say, oh, I don't think he meant that? If that's the other way around, if that's Andre Gomes pushing Bruno Fernandes into somebody and Bruno Fernandes goes down concussed and has to leave the pitch, they're talking about it in 6 weeks. They're talking about it next year, about how awful it is and how Richarlison needs to be banned from all football and activity forever. But when it's a Man United player, it's just swept under the carpet. Yeah, but I've said all I need to say about that anyway. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 6.5. Again, worked really hard. I think he had something like 20 touches in the first half, which was the least out of any player on the pitch. And I don't necessarily put that down to Dom, to be honest with you. I put that down to just nobody being creative. Look, Dom's got a lot to improve on, and we've seen that in glimpses today. We've seen the parts of the game where he had the ball and he could run at defenders and he just got it stuck in between his feet, or he just couldn't quite get it in the right areas and he had to pass it out, and he done well with it. But for it to be a top striker, when you get the ball as a striker and you're running towards two defenders, you need to be ripping them to bits and basically slotting it bottom corner. And look, he needs to improve on that, but you can't really go too much into him because Dom's strengths are when people are putting balls into the box and when people are creating for him, and nobody done that for him today, other than the odd corner, which, let's be honest, most of them are atrocious. Onto the bench then, Bernard for... Our bench is woeful. Not just Bernard, our bench is woeful. It's sickening. You look at that bench, and as soon, I say it every single week, every single time we play, I say it, if the starting 11 doesn't perform, and you can usually tell that within the opening 20 minutes, if the starting 11 isn't performing or isn't working, the game's done. Because there is not one player on that bench who I look at and think, you can come on and change a game here, you can come on and win this game for us. There's players that shouldn't be at the club, don't have any effect when they get on the pitch, or Carlo hasn't got the trust in the young players. Bernard, again, come on today, didn't do anything. And I'm not saying he should have, and I'm not saying it's all on him. It's not all on him, because ultimately he only had 20 odd minutes or whatever it was, but he didn't impact the game. And substitutes are meant to come on and impact the game, and if they don't impact the game, what's the point? Cenk Tosun, I haven't even given him a score, and some people might say that's harsh, but for argument's sake, again, a 4. Did he touch the ball? He might have touched the ball on 1 or 2 occasions. I think he tried to play a pass through the middle and it just fell short, and they ended up breaking. I think it was actually the break for the second goal. But what's the point? What's the point? And then Tom Davies, I've given him a 5. Again, marginally better. Did get his foot on the ball a couple of times, but ultimately had no effect whatsoever on the game, and was never going to come on and change the game, was he? Let's be honest. He should have been on. He should have started over Gomes, and he should have been on at half-time to at least settle into the game a bit. He's not an impact sub, and he was brought on ultimately to be an impact sub. But yeah, there you go. Carlo Ancelotti's Everton crash out of the Carabao Cup quarter-final due to a poor performance and dreadful refereeing decisions for me. But look, I'm not going to make any excuses. We were awful today, and you know, the best team probably won, and now we try to enjoy our Christmas and get on to Boxing Day and hopefully get another 3 points in the Premier League and climb up the Premier League table, because, you know, other than the FA Cup, which has still got a long way to go, that needs to be the focus now. But it's very disappointing for a club who hasn't won a trophy in as long as we have. You don't just leave nights like this thinking, well, it's just the Carabao Cup. It's so bitter, it's so disappointing, it's so horrible, and it just completely dampens your mood. But I'm off work tomorrow, so I'm going to go and have a bevy. I'm probably not. I'm probably going to have a cup of tea and go to bed fuming, but I'll say I'm going to have a bevy to make myself feel better. If you've enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be live tomorrow with the game review. We'll have the preview to the Sheffield United game out tomorrow. Loads of content coming out over the next couple of days in the lead up to Christmas as well. Have a great one. And yeah, what can you do, eh? Cheers for watching. See you soon.